In this video, we're gonna talk about what to do in Ushuaia, what are the must-see tours, the coolest places to visit, where to eat, the best restaurants, are there any museums worth visiting in the city, what are the most beautiful walks in the mountains and in Argentina and Patagonia. So stay tuned because these are going to be quick, useful tips. Like the video guys, don't forget it, subscribe to the channel because that really helps us a lot, and buckle up, let's go! For those of you who don't know me, I'm Gabriel Lorenzi, creator of the Grupo Dicas, the largest travel content network in the world, and today we're going to talk about what to do in Ushuaia. What are all the tours, which are the ones you can't miss, how to hike to Laguna Esmeralda, how to visit the port, how to take the boat trip, which boat you have to take, which is worth it, which isn't, all the tips you need to have an unforgettable trip and enjoy the best of Ushuaia and all of its beauty. So let's go, buckle up. Let's start talking about geography, just so you can quickly understand what Ushuaia is like. Ushuaia is right at the end of South America. It borders Chile with Torres del Paine, which is another beautiful place which you can take a trip to, but it's so far away, I don't think it's worth it. It's hours and hours to get there, you'll spend a lot of time. Focus on Ushuaia, which has lots of beautiful things to do, which is the part of Argentina and Patagonia, and there in the tourist center where you're staying is the best location. I'll even give you some tips on where to stay, but if you stay in the tourist center, you'll be close to all the tours, you'll be close to the port. So let's get to it. The first idea is for you to understand where to stay in Ushuaia, and then I'll talk about the tours, what's nearby, what's not, what you need to drive, what you can do on foot. Then it's much easier for you to understand how the city works and what you can do inside it. And now talking about accommodation. For accommodation, a well-located hotel. All the hotels here I've considered to be in the center, which is the best place. You'll be close to everything, you'll be able to do everything on foot. The city isn't very big, so you'll be well located, but if you want to save a lot of money, get a nice hostel, a nice little place, you can get around $300 for the 5 days for one person. So $300 you can stay somewhere very cheap, very economical for the 5 days of your trip. If you want a little more comfort, I've put $476 here, which is a hotel we've stayed in, which is very nice. The value for money is excellent, it's a good hotel. This price includes breakfast, and it's a good breakfast, and the nice things that we had a hearty breakfast and went off to excursions, and it's well located close to the main avenue, San Martin, the restaurants everywhere. It's a great experience and a very good value for money for $166 for the 5 days, a nice little hotel. And guys, first things first, I'll leave the link to the hotel down here, which everyone always asks for. I'll leave it here in the description of the video and in the first fixed comment, and also the links to all the websites, because these prices that I'm putting here, if you search, you might find everything more expensive and say, Gabriel, those prices don't exist. No, it's just that we already know the website to have the best prices. We've had years of travel experience and we know how to get everything cheaper. If you want, I'll leave everything in the list, a complete guide down here in the description and in the first comment with all the links for you to search, compare, see. You will see that you can organize a trip much cheaper than with travel agencies or other more traditional places. So take a look, use the links, you will see that it's very good and the trip will be cheaper in good places that we already know and we trust. Be sure that everything we put down here below in the video, they are the best and for sure a good way to save a lot of money. Now that you know where to stay in Ushuaia, let's start with the tours. There are some tours in the center itself that you can do on foot. There are stores, restaurants. The main avenue is called Avenida San Martin. There are several San Martin avenues in Argentina. You can see that several cities have this avenue. The main one, they give it that name because of San Martin. So it's the main avenue. There is a cash point to withdraw money. There is a supermarket to buy things to take back to your hotel. There are restaurants. The best restaurants are there. There are museums. The museums aren't huge, but it's nice to understand the history of the place, how it works. Even more so for those with children. Take a look, there are 2 or 3 that are worth a visit. It's cheap and close by, and just below that is the port where the cruise ships leave. There are those cruises that make those trips with the beautiful view of Antarctica, of the southernmost part of the world, the end of the world as they call the Ushuaia region. So the port is very nice and gives you access to some tours that I'm going to talk about here and that you can take. For example, let's start with the tour that I think is the coolest of all, which is the BIGO channel tour, the most famous channel here. There are 2 tours. I'll leave you with the website we use to buy tickets, tours and excursions. It's very good. It's one of the biggest websites in the world. The price is always the best. They are very good. I buy everything there. I'll leave it down here for you to take a look at the prices. But there are 2 tours. There's the BIGO channel boat trip and the BIGO channel yacht trip. What's the difference? The boat is a big boat, the one you see here on the screen. You're gonna see everything here, which takes a lot of people. You don't have such a close experience with the guides, with the history of the place. The yacht is a little more expensive. I think it was about $15 more expensive, but it's a much smaller, nicer and more comfortable boat, and the guide explains everything to you. You get a much better insight into the history of the place and the islands. And then these boat trips through the area below the BIGO channel are very nice, because you will see the lighthouse at the end of the world, which is the southernmost lighthouse in the world. So everything there is from the end of the world, or the south of the world. They use those terms a lot there. And then you will get to know the lighthouse. You will pass by the islands. There's an island with a lot of sea lions. They live there, they sleep there. There's Penguin Island, which is one of the most visited tourist spots in Ushuaia. And on this tour you will see that it includes a hike around Bridge Island. Bridge Island is the Penguin Island, so you end up seeing everything in just one trip. So I think this boat trip is great for the first day, so you can get an overview of the place. But this boat trip in general is very nice and very worthwhile. You can get to a lot of places. You can get to see the animals, the sea lions, the penguins. It's really a lot of fun, especially if you are with kids. They usually love the animals. Another very nice walk, which in my opinion is the most beautiful, is to the Emerald Lagoon. It's an incredible hike that takes 1 or 2 hours depending on your pace. You don't have to be an expert hiker, you just have to be in good physical condition and be prepared to walk that long. It takes 5 kilometers to get there, then 5 kilometers to get back. It's a very nice trail that will take you to Laguna Esmeralda. It's a beautiful place, it's an incredible landscape. I think it makes for the most beautiful photos of the trip, so it's a place I highly recommend. Ideally, you should go with an agency that has a guide. They already know the way, so you don't get lost. It's a great travel with someone who has experience so that you don't get lost. There are people who ventured out and go on their own, but I think it's better with a guide. I like going on trips on my own, but there are some places in the world, like the end of the world, which is Ushuaia, that I think are safer and cooler because you get to know them. The guide explains everything, shows you the most beautiful landscapes, the photo spots. It's very nice. Take a look. Trekking to Laguna Esmeralda is not expensive. There's a website here too. Check it out. They do everything. They pick you up from your hotel in the center, take you in a super cool van. There's a picnic. They bring you some cheese, even some wine for you to drink there, looking at Laguna Esmeralda. So it's a very nice walk that I highly recommend you to take. It's more difficult in the winter. If you haven't seen the video, watch the video with all the tips for Ushuaia. I've made a very complete video with all the tips. It's very important because you need to know when to go. The weather, for example, in the winter to do the Emerald Lagoon is more complicated because there's a lot of snow. In June and July they sometimes close down. There are no tours because it's too complicated. So winter is a bit more complicated there. Do some research beforehand on the times when not to go, when to go. Watch this video because it's complete. It gives you all the tips for your trip to Ushuaia. But back to the tours, guys. This one is best done when it's not so in the winter. Even in spring and fall, there's still that white snow above the ground. The ground is slippery and it's cold. So take clothes, be prepared, take a second skin, waterproof clothing. A waterproof boots is very important. If you go with sneakers, even good sneakers, the first puddle you step on, it's very beautiful. When you step on the lake's river, your foot will freeze. It could even necrotize. It's an intense business. So waterproof boots, waterproof sneakers, because it's a bit of an adventure and the climate there is intense. Literally the end of the world, guys. So it's really cold. You don't want to run the risk of getting wet and literally freezing in this place. That's super cold. Speaking of winter, one of the things you can only do in winter are the ski centers, the ski slopes. There are more than 17 of them, if I'm not mistaken, around Ushuaia, and they say it's the highest quality snow in South America, and it's the longest period of snow because it's a very far south one. From July to October you can ski. The slopes are full of snow, and the most famous of all is Cerro Castor, which is huge, has several slopes, beginner, advanced, intermediate. There's the kids garden, they call it. There they play some sports in the snow, ski, snowboard, for families who don't want to ski. There are several restaurants, a beautiful place to go, but it's more in the winter. It only works in winter. In summer it doesn't work, so it depends on when you go. I think it starts opening in May until October, November. Check it out, it's really nice. There's an all-inclusive tour on the website. You already have the equipment, the 3-hour lesson to learn, and the entrance ticket to the hill, and then you can spend the day there enjoying yourself. They take you back to your hotel. It's a really nice tour if you're going in the winter and want to see the snow. I highly recommend Cerro Castor. I think it's the coolest of them all. You can learn, you can ski, and you can have a lot of fun with those who are going to go with you. And now, to round off this very extreme and far-flung excursion, there is also the Tierra del Fuego National Park, which they call Tierra del Fuego, which is a very cool national park. Ushuaia is called Tierra del Fuego because when the colonizers arrived and saw it for the first time, there were Indians there and they had a lot of bonfires near the beach, so they saw a lot of fire, so they started calling it the Land of Fire. No matter how cold or southern it was, it had that name. So if you're curious, that's why it's called Tierra del Fuego. And there's the Tierra del Fuego National Park, which is very beautiful, very nice to visit. And there is also the train to the end of the world, they call it, which is the train that goes to the end of the world. All the time they say end of the world, but that's what it is, the end of the world. It's really the southernmost place, and it's a very nice train, typical of them, where you go along, you see all the scenery, then you stop, you eat their typical food. It's really a nice place, a trip where you can really feel the culture of the place, see a different landscape. It's not expensive, so take a look. This tour is also available on the website, or you can go on your own if you're going by car or some other kind of transportation, but check it out, it's really cool. I also highly recommend the Tierra del Fuego tour with the end of the world train. I really recommend it. You can see everything on the website, you can buy your tickets and everything. And guys, before we go into the restaurants, a nice tip about the exchange rate, then watch the video with all the tips about Ushuaia. I'll put it at the end of this video. Just put all the tips from Ushuaia, Gabriel Lorenzi, and it will appear. There I give the tip about the exchange rate. Guys, this is a tip that will save you a lot of money. I'm not kidding. You will spend half of the amount you would spend on payments on your trip there, on everything you pay for there, because of the parallel exchange rate. It's a golden tip where we're giving you. So take a look at the video with all the tips, which has this more general travel tips. It'll make a difference, and then you can spend more in the restaurants, because now on the restaurants where to eat in Ushuaia, there are lots of nice places. The cuisine there is incredible. They're at the end of the world, so there are lots of different marine animals, things that are only available there. One of their specialties is crab, so if you like seafood, crabs, shrimp, it's very nice. There are lots of typical dishes there. There's also lamb, which is a typical Argentinian dish in general, but very local. They make a very good lamb for those who like it and want to try it. There are more typical dishes. As for restaurants, there are lots of them. In the town center, there are several. You can find the one you like the best, the type of food, because there are several types to choose from. The most famous of them all, but you need to make a reservation, is the Bodegón Fueguino. It's the most famous of all. It has typical food, it's very nice, but you need to book in advance because it's the most popular in town. It's the center of town and it gets very crowded, so make a reservation, but it's worth a visit. One that we really liked, if you want to grab a quick bite to eat quickly and cheaply so you can do your sightseeing, is Dona Lupita. It's a very full of savory snacks with some very good empanadas. We paid, I think, 80 cents. It wasn't even $1 each empanada. A delicious empanada of various flavors. So take a look at Dona Lupita. It's a very nice place to eat. It's close to the center, close to the hotel we stayed in, which I'll give you the link to below, which you also saw when we talked about where to stay in Ushuaia. So it's all in that center. For those who like meat, there's Pajilla de la Estancia or La Estancia Pajilla. I can't remember the order, but we liked it a lot. It's more of a steak house. It's more focused on meat, Argentinian meat. It's the best in the world, guys. And that's it, guys. I hope you liked the video. If you like it, please don't forget to give us that like and subscribe to the channel, because that really helps us a lot. And down here I'll leave all the links to help you book everything for your trip, organize your entire trip with the cheapest places that we already know are good, work, and are the cheapest for everyone. There's the cell phone chip, travel insurance, which is very cheap and very important to take out, where to stay, the hotel, the exchange rate, global digital account. It's all down here in the description. Check it out and you will have a great tip at the best possible price. And that's it, guys. Thank you very much. I'm going to highlight the video where I talked about all the tips for Ushuaia, and here on the side the playlist with all the other videos for you to watch. So thank you very much, guys, and have nice trips.